All right, Fikowski here, the professor, November 13th to November 19th, the professor project programming. Uh, Big week of training. Bit of a change, so I'm going to go through this. The Fikowski, I'm training twice a day program. Very similar rhythm, very similar sort of cadence as we've seen the last few weeks, kind of since the games. That sort of setup where there's one rest day, but Wednesday and Saturday are like kind of lower volume, lower intensity, less time in the gym. And then the Monday and the Thursday are, the bigger days. And then the the Professor Project Essentials. So that is, I'm training once a day, 6 days a week, changing that up a bit. Been listening to the feedback, I've been thinking about it, and sort of came up with a newer template. Basically, what I'm doing, what the Fikowski program is, it can be very repetitive, but also there's just so much time in a week that we're basically on very much a weekly repeat, right? It's just, you're just washing through the same stuff. That's how you get better, right? You're getting repetitive touches on the same stuff, similar sort of rhythm and rhyme and reason to it. And so then trying to kind of filter that in a weekly mindset for the essentials has been challenging. And I think probably the biggest challenge has been keeping it to like that 90-minute window, right? Keeping the training in a 90-minute window. So went back to the drawing board and decided to go on sort of like a 2-week rotating schedule. So instead of every week being like, well, we have to clean heavy, we have to snatch heavy, we have to back squat heavy, deadlift heavy, you got to do rope climbs, got to do bar muscle ups, got to do ring muscle ups, you got to do burpees, you got to do chest bars. You start adding all those things up and you're like, oh, 90 minutes a day, you don't have enough time to do all those things in a week, which is totally fine. And you'll see in the Fikowski program, obviously, it's not like we're doing every single skill every single week, but, we are squatting heavy every week, right? We are doing running every week and so on. So what we're doing here, and I'm excited about how this week's, it's going to evolve a little bit as I sort of find the rhythm I really like. But for this week, you're going to see the essentials training, and there'll be a few things in there that might not, you'll look through Fikowski and be like, well, where did this come from? It's like, well, it's something new. And so I really wanted each session to fit into a 90-minute window, and feel like I've done that. We're going to continue to kind of take feedback if you guys have any feedback if some of the sessions are taking too long, but just trying to keep it simple, right? Basically, most days are strength and a metcon and then some optional accessories, or like a really long, like kind of Thursday. Let me find this here. Let me get it. Let me just pull it up here so I have it right. So we've got like a zone 2 jog directly into a workout, right? And so that takes, that's 90 minutes, right? So you're doing your zone 2 work and then right into like kind of a lower skill workout. So you're already sweating, you already got the body moving, you're already nice and warmed up, and then you just kind of get into some CrossFit stuff. So obviously you're not going to be able to smash that CrossFit workout at the craziest intensity, but it's echo bike intervals into some box jumps and lunges. It's like just kind of grunt work. And each set, a little bit different box jump over energy. So like I love that type of training. It's a way to get in like that zone 2 work, which, obviously I'm a big fan of, feel like it's super important with all the high intensity we do. You need to have that aerobic base. So it's a way to still get that in as someone who's only training 90 minutes a day, but still not leaving feeling like, oh, all I did was just go for a jog today. It's like, well, get in the jog and then immediately go in, get the heart rate even a little bit higher, have some fun, do some CrossFit. But, on Monday, it's basically, heavy squat workout. Wednesday, you've got the snatch, and then you've got some gymnastics stuff, and then just a little workout after that, just to kind of feel like you did some CrossFit. You want to get your sweat on. So the way that looks is, that last one there is, thruster calorie echo bike. Shouldn't have to warm up too much for that, but still obviously a dinger, right? That'll get you. But you're getting in the handstand work. And each week, obviously, those gymnastic skills are going to change, because I think it's super important that we spend that time working on those gymnastic skills, refining those. And if you're just doing them in workouts, even if you only have 9 minutes a day, if all you ever do is these gymnastics things in workouts, like, oh, I did, 3 sets of 10 ring muscle ups, and I did 5 sets of 15 chest to bars. It's like, it's hard to get better at those, and it's hard to progress them to like more challenging skills. So you'll see this week a lot of kind of, strength and then a WOD. And then next week, still a lot of that as well. We'll have the 20-minute zone 2 kind of directly into a chipper. But then like on Saturday, I'm excited for next Saturday. What we kind of have planned there, I think is, a session that I really like. And I've done them in the past. It's not really part of my training right now. So for the people following Fikowski, it's not something we're going to be really doing, but I think it's a really good way of getting in some conditioning and still getting in some running volume. And yeah. So, another thing, so basically if you're following, I really recommend you try and follow one or the other program, but I know that some people might have to bounce between one or the other. And if you do have to do that, if you're kind of bouncing between, I would try to stick to the one that you feel like you're going to do more of. So if you're like, more often than not, I'm a 90-minute a day kind of person, and then the occasional day I have a second session, then follow the 90-minute a day, right? Then follow that. And then if you want to add something on, have a look at the week and see, well, what can I realistically add in here that's not going to take away from the next day? And then if you're a person who's like, yeah, more often than not, I'm training twice a day, but some days I can only train once, which means like I'm going to have to leave something out, then I'd recommend following the Fikowski program. And then on some day when you can only do one thing, have a look at what's coming, take away the thing that, you don't have time for or is the least important to your progress. So if you're like, if you're really strong, you take out some of the squats, take out some of the deadlifts. If you're really good at gymnastics, take out that stuff. If you're really fit and aerobic, you have a background in that stuff, maybe take out some of the longer runs or the longer zone 2 stuff. If your body's banged up, take out some of the CrossFit, right? So whatever it is. But anyway, excited about this essentials change, the 90-minute a day. I think it's going to be really good. So like this week, kind of like the main kind of pieces there, you've got like the heavy squatting, you've got the overhead pressing and pulling on the 14th. Let me just pull that up here. Yes, you've got like band assisted chest to bar pull-ups, right into overhead press and right into some like deep deficit push-ups. So kind of like a superset, upper body pressing, upper body pulling, right into, again, some landmine press, some dumbbell pullover, and then you've got a workout after that. So that's, so you've got the heavy squats, you've got the high rep pushing and pulling, heavy snatch. Next day is the zone 2, you've got heavy deadlifts. And then the last day you've got some tough sprint stuff with, a little bit of pump work. And then next week, I'll kind of just quickly go over that just so you kind of have an idea. It's like heavy front squats, some heavy bench or heavy strict press. You've got some more superset stuff, like just more triceps, biceps. And then, like pull-ups, triceps. And then you've got, again, the zone 2, then you've got a heavy clean and jerk, and then you've got like a grinder workout. And then after each of those things, there's a workout. And so kind of working to make sure that, I'm giving you touches on like the major important CrossFit movements. So like every 2 weeks, it's like, I got to make sure we're getting in the burpees, getting in the ring muscle-ups, getting in the bar muscle-ups. So you might not see those every week like you often do in the Fikowski program, but every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks, it's like, got my touches on the rope climbs, got my touches on the rings, got my touches on the chest to bars, touch and go barbell, dumbbell, kettlebell, whatever it is. So there's kind of a list there, and I'm going to do my best to kind of, get in the matrix there and make sure that you're getting touches on all those things. But as always, and I try to preach this as much as I can, like stay on the program. But if you are going to make changes, if you are going to make changes, make sure you're doing it for the right reasons, right? Make sure you're doing it and you have a really good understanding, like what are the really big things that are going to make me better. And if I do need to make changes, so for example, if there's a workout with dumbbell snatches, but you go, like I feel really confident in my dumbbell snatch, my technique's good, but my low back is a little sore right now. And, I was watching a video on kettlebell hang snatches, and I feel like that's something I don't do very well and I can improve on. So it's like, that's a good switch where it's basically the same movement. If I was coaching you one-on-one, I wouldn't even need you to tell me that really. It's like, hey, I decided to do hang kettlebell snatches instead of dumbbell snatches because my low back was sore. It was the same weight, same reps, 10 right, 10 left. But, just wanted to change up the stimulus as I feel like I needed to work on that technique leading into this competition. It's like, yeah, cool. Like that's a good, smart choice, as opposed to, hey coach, I know it said, 5x5 back squat, but it was feeling good, so I maxed out and then I did heavy yoke, and you're like, what are you doing, right? Like, please don't do that. save the max outs for when it matters. Keep grinding away at the sets and reps, at the percentages, at the loads that are manageable, and build the base. So anyway, that's enough rambling. Hope you enjoy this week of training. I know I did. I enjoyed writing this. I'm really excited about this essentials. I've been chewing on this now really since the games. Been trying to get it right, and I think it's a good time to release it now. I know for me, feeling like I'm in a routine here, kind of things are shifting into winter and kind of hunkering down and getting into a routine. So I hope that this new routine finds you all very well. That's it. Enjoy the training. And if you have any questions, as always, hit me up.